All right, welcome into episode 2 of Who Gives a Flip alongside the legend of Longhorn Investments, Ryan Blake. Jared Sandler, happy to be with you. Hopefully you enjoyed episode 1, our fantasy football-like draft of qualities and characteristics that are important to making an investor successful. This one, though, I think we're just going to keep it simple, and let's break down the different financing options that an investor has when they're pursuing a deal.
Sure. So we want to just go over what can you do to finance a deal. So the very first one is actually no finance at all, cash. You can just buy a deal for cash. If you happen to have that cash sitting around and it's not invested in anything that's earning any significant return, why not put it into a deal? Typically, people are going to see, maybe a 20, 30% return on their funds by investing all cash into a deal. That's going to be better than what you're going to get in the market. Definitely better than what you're getting on a bank account.
So at Longhorn Investments, we fund 100% of purchase and repair, up to 70% of the ARV for a flip, 75% for a rental. The 100% is key. That's something that we feel like separates us. We're going to get into hard money in a second, and not just Longhorn hard money. We're going to talk about hard money in general. If you got a call from Mark Cuban, if I got a call from Mark Cuban, and he's like, hey, I'd want to use hard money, I'd probably be like, all right, Mark, I mean, it's cool, but I think I could be wrong. From what I know about you, you probably have the cash to do it, right?
I mean, I would first ask for courtside tickets, but if you'd
That's
rather...
fair. That's fair.
I mean, do you?
Yeah, I'd ask for Lakers courtside tickets at this point so I can watch my beloved Luka Doncic. Although I'm open to this next chapter of the Cooper Flag. But point being, cash is, if you can do it, that's the best option. Now, you shouldn't do it if it's going to stretch you thin just for the sake of doing it, right? Because then you got to think about just the holistic picture of it. But if you've got silly money just laying around, you're not using financing, right? You're buying it with cash because that's the easiest way.
I mean, we say that, but to an extent, if you have a better opportunity to invest that money somewhere else, if you make more than 12%, this typical hard money interest rate, you might want to go deploy that elsewhere. If you're Mark Cuban, you probably got some pretty good opportunities. I mean, he could invest in the newest ShamWow on Shark Tank or something, right?
Yeah.
But seriously, if you have opportunities, then put that capital elsewhere. When people call me and they do have high capital, though, I ask them, what is your other thing that you could be doing with those funds? Where else could you invest them? They say, oh, well, I'm just going to put them in the stock market on an index fund, or I'm going to just leave them in my bank account. Well, no, then it makes sense to utilize that cash, whether all of it to just pay for the deal in cash or maybe fund a little bit more and not need the full 100% financing, because it's going to, in the end, be a better return. But for the most part, if you have that opportunity to put that cash somewhere else, let that cash work and then utilize financing.
No, that's fair. I think we see people who, we work for them, our product works for them because they only have $20,000. But with that, you can make it happen, with our loan. But if you have someone who's got $500,000, and I'm more thinking about again, the Mark Cuban, the Jeff Bezos, I'm sure, but you're right. They probably have some hoity-toity investment opportunities. But if you got $500,000, you don't necessarily need a hard money loan. You could go the conventional route. You, depending on the project, could go cash. But to your point, why not scale my portfolio? Why not, not have more money tied up than what I need? And sure. I'd also say, I don't know, I guess if I'm not supposed to say this, we can edit this out. But, we are built on an investment fund.
Who gives a flip?
Who gives a flip? We're built on an investment fund, and we typically have returns of 10% annually. So that could be an option for people if they're tuning in. They're looking for an avenue to grow their money. The Trident Fund is maybe an option for you. But all right, so I mentioned conventional.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Conventional is going to be next up. Typically, the drawbacks on conventional, 20% down. So you're going to be bringing cash down. And pretty much all of the time, it's not going to cover any of your rehab. So that's all going to be out of pocket. But again, if you're somebody who has some cash available, just not enough to buy the whole project, that might be the best option. Your rates are going to be lower. You're going to be able to get into the deal. You're Your rates are going to be lower. You're going to be able to still buy the property. You will have more cash invested, but it could be the best opportunity for you. I don't know. The big drawback, though, is on top of that is going to be that you have to wait typically 3 to 4, maybe 5 weeks to close on the property. Some of these good deals can't wait that long. You need to move a little bit faster, and that's why cash is probably going to be your primary.
Yeah.
Sorry, do you got anything to say?
Yeah. No. Yeah. So we probably both have borrowers who, come to us and they're like, yeah, I don't usually use hard money, but I gotta close on this deal quickly. Like it's not, and we might not ever hear from them again. Maybe they have a great experience and they come back. There's certain borrowers that are like, they're in this, and yeah, I think they would like to do multiple deals. I've had people, though, every year, I feel like I have a few, it's like, yeah, I'm not really a hard money guy. Like they really like make it a point. They're like, this isn't my thing. Like they almost feel like dirty going over to our side of the fence, kind of odd. But anyway, listen, happy to do it. And it's strictly because they need to close quickly.
Yeah. Hard money, and I mean, that rolls right into the next one, hard money. Hard money is sometimes a requirement for a deal because they're going to want cash or hard money because they need to close in the next 1 to 2 weeks. And that's where we at Longhorn Investments come in. We're able to supply those funds, close within 2 weeks, and finance pretty much as you need. We're willing to finance everything but your closing costs. So that leaves title fees, loan fees, insurance. If that's all that you're paying at close, it's probably pretty minimal.
And a quick note on that, people ask like, hey, will you cover closing costs? You said no. The answer is no. At the end of the day, we need our borrowers to have some skin in the game. And the reality is it makes sense if you think about it. If someone's got, if they're rolling into a deal for free, the chances of that deal, first of all, the fact that they kind of need to is alarming. Probably doesn't mean that they've got a lot of financial protection. And the chances of those deals of succeeding aren't great. I mean, think about this. You spend your hard-earned money to go to a sporting event. Well, you bet your ass you're going to go to that sporting event and you're going to get there on time or try close to it. You're going to try get your money's worth. You're going to stay, maybe not till the end, but you're going to stay a while. You're going to enjoy it.
You're not one of those guys that leaves the sporting event early, are you?
I'm not, but I understand that there are people who want to beat traffic in certain situations. Yeah. Like football games can be tough at times. I get that. But if I hand you tickets for free to some random game, you might be sitting there an hour before. Do I really want to go? No, all right, let me finish this episode of this show. And you show up late, and then it's a 20-point game, and you're like, I'm ready. I'm out. I'm back. You know what I mean? Like, it's similar deal.
You're not as invested.
You're not as invested. So that's why we do require that closing costs are paid by you. We need you to have some skin in the game. Sure. Just as an aside. I get asked that question a lot. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
And I have very similar sentiments from some of my borrowers that you said, where they're like, don't tell anyone, but I'm going to try hard money just this once. Like they think that hard money means that they're desperate.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. Hard money may mean you just don't have the cash to do the deal right now. Hard money may mean you want to do more deals with the cash that you have because we let you do up to 3 deals right off the bat if you're a brand new investor with us. It also may mean that you just have those funds invested elsewhere and you want to just maximize your ROI. Because if you're only putting, a maximum over the whole life of a loan, $20,000 into a deal that's going to earn you $40,000, $50,000, that's a 200% return.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Right?
This is not some taboo, I got a mark on me that I used hard money. No. I would say this. I always tell people, not that when you're 10 years old, you're learning about conventional loans, but the minute you start learning about loans, typically, unless you've got a family member who's a real estate investor teaching you about hard money, is when you understand how people buy houses typically. And the most common loan is a conventional loan. That's people are conditioned to think of things through the lens of a conventional loan. And so the biggest shock is the interest, right? A conventional loan is going to have lower interest, But like you said, they're not going to lend as much. They're not going to lend anywhere near as much. Like, none of the rehab in all likelihood, 20% down from the purchase price. You're bringing a lot of money to the table. But just because conventional loans are the more popular kid in school doesn't mean that hard money loans don't have a place, and it doesn't mean you can't go sit at the hard money lunch table, right? That shouldn't be the stigma. Hard money, we're not bullies. We're not, we don't have contagious diseases or anything. It's just, we're not as well known. We're more quiet in the lending space in a sense, but we're loud in the real estate investing space. But the retail space, obviously not really a player.
I think we had much different childhoods. I did learn about conventional loans when I was 10 years old.
I did not. You know what? I might have, but I just was probably too locked in elsewhere. All right. What's that other, I guess that fourth bucket of other?
And so the last one we want to talk about is just other financing. What else is there someone can do? So some people may have heard subject to, meaning subject to the existing financing. That's where you just take on the person's note. If they're current, then you just start making the payments. Maybe you have to give them some sort of payment in equity. You get it titled, deeded over to your name. However, the existing loan is not paid off when that deed transfers, and instead you start making that payment. You sometimes also may need to catch the loan up because a lot of times people get behind when they're in a situation where they need to sell quick. You could get them caught up, and then you start making the payments from there. Great opportunity, especially with people from just 3, 4, 5 years ago having 3% mortgage rates. That's a great way to get that low rate on an investment deal, and you can keep moving with it. You could then turn around and owner finance it. You could flip it. You could put a renter in there. You have a lot of opportunities. Another creative financing is doing a novation. Novation is where you're going to actually work with the seller, have them give you partial deed. They kind of add you to the deed, and you're going to fix it up together. You have an agreement in place, and you're going to split the profits a certain way from the home. So you never are fully taking on the project in your name all by yourself. You're kind of sharing or partnering with the seller. A lot of legal loopholes. We are not attorneys, so please make sure you consult with someone before doing anything. Some of these alternative methods that we're talking about. Another method is just owner finance. Buy the property and let the owner carry the note. So let's say that they own the house outright. They want to sell it to you for $100,000. Say, okay, I'll give you $10,000 now, and then I'll pay you $1,000 a month at a 2% interest rate. Sometimes they'll do it for 0%. They just want to get their money over time. It becomes like an annuity for the owner, and now you can put a renter in there. You have a very low payment and profit. So there's a lot of opportunities, and this wasn't a comprehensive list. Can you think of any others?
Yeah, I don't know. The one that owner finance was the one that was top of mind. Yeah, I mean, there are obviously other ways, but I think those are probably the most common of that other kind of creative bucket.
Well,
right?
I mean, let's use this as an opportunity. If you guys know of any other ways, please drop them in the comments. Let us know how you're financing deals using kind of that other or unique or creative financing method. We're all here to learn. This is all about interactive. We want to hear how much you love us, how much you hate us, how much Jared's intros are amazing.
I hate you.
Thank you.
I love you.
Sorry, in the comments. I don't want to hear it right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you only want to
just
hear
put
it
them
when
in the
you want to
comments.
hear it. I see how it
exactly.
is. Yeah, I see how it is, Ryan. Golly. No, yeah, we would love to hear from you. And you just said something quickly. We'll wrap on this. The real estate investing world is very communal. Mm-hmm. We can all succeed, right? This is not something where it's like you ever really need to root for other people's failures, right? It's not like this is not a competitive, like it's competitive in some ways, but like one of the cool things is that it seems like the community really does come together to support one another because no one wants to see someone fail and flop.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Like we want to see you succeed. And just let me know, like, how often do you talk people out of using hard money?
Oh, I mean, it happens. Right. I talk people out of doing deals because I don't think they've got it might not be the right deal or they don't have the funds. Like they're really trying to push and I'm just nervous that like if one little thing goes wrong, then they're going to flop. Yeah, and I've talked people out of hard money just because I didn't think it made sense for them based on what their goals were and what their priorities were.
Sometimes hard money isn't right for the deal, and at the end of the day, we're a lender. We want to get paid back. The company wants to get paid back, so we want to see you get into the right loan for your deal. And that may be no loan at all. It may be not doing the deal, or it may be going to a conventional loan or going some other way. And at the end of the day, we want to see people succeed because we know if we treat you right, if we treat the people who are coming to us and trusting us right, that maybe they're going to refer us to someone else in the future. And I'm going to be able to sleep at night because I know I didn't talk somebody into something they didn't need.
Yeah, we don't want to have blood on our hands in that way and feel like our advice led someone down a really bad path in life that is hard for them to recover from, but doesn't impact us, right? Like if I advise Ryan to do a deal, or if I don't advise him to run from a deal, and in the back of my head, I'm like, I don't think this is good for Ryan. And then, he can't make payments, and now his credit's toast, and he's lost all this money. I'm still sleeping at night. It doesn't impact me in theory, but like I wouldn't sleep well at night, right? No. And that's why we use the term loan consultant as opposed to loan officer, because we really do take pride in that C part of it, the consultant, the partnership, the teammate side of it.
We're not loan originators, we're loan consultants.
And I would say this, if you've got, whether you're using Longhorn or any other hard money lender, if you're working with someone you don't feel like that, you don't feel like they're with you, they're alongside you, you feel like they're a factory and they're trying to churn out the next deal, might not be the right lender, because there's a lot of money. This is your life, right? This can be life-changing in a great way, but it can also be life-changing in a not-so-great way. You want to have someone who's going to be alongside, who can advise, who can fight with you and for you. You don't want someone who doesn't, like, you've worked with them for 3 weeks and they still barely even know your name. They just know, like, oh, this is 123 Main Street, like loan 78325. Like that's not how it works, right?
And that's why one of our 4 core values is to be borrower-centric. Yeah. We want to make sure that the borrower is taken care of, and that's not just from the loan origination, loan consultant side. It's from our servicing team, our draws team. It's all-encompassing. We really want to make sure that these people feel taken care of and that we are looking out for their best interest.
Yeah, we'll definitely do a podcast later on our core values, but that's a good one. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Who Gives a Flip, episode 2. For Ryan Blake, in the books. I'm Jared Sandler. R. Blake at longhorninvestments.com. Jay Sandler at longhorninvestments.com. We will talk to you soon.